SCP-001. One morning, a Foundation researcher stood on a distant observation platform overlooking a massive glowing figure near the entrance to what appeared to be the Garden of Eden. The entity hadn't moved in years. Then alarms began sounding across the facility. A drone had crossed the restricted perimeter. For a brief moment, nothing happened. Then a blinding flash erupted from the figure's sword. The drone vanished instantly. Seconds later, every monitoring screen in the control room went dark. The researchers barely had time to react before the entire launch site was reduced to ash. The Guardian never took a step. It never raised its voice, yet everything that threatened it was erased. As the light surrounding the figure intensified, one message repeated across every surviving monitor: "Leave this place." SCP-001, commonly known as the Gate Guardian, is a colossal angelic entity, estimated to stand over 300 meters tall, stationed before the entrance to Eden. Wielding a flaming sword capable of striking targets from kilometers away, it has effortlessly destroyed missiles, drones, and personnel who attempted to approach it. Its true power remains unknown, but Foundation records suggest it may be capable of triggering global-scale disasters if provoked. SCP-1128. One warm afternoon, a teenager named Mark took a dip in his backyard pool. He jumped in, swam to the bottom, and looked up toward the surface. Suddenly, the water turned pitch black. The concrete walls vanished into an endless, icy abyss. A powerful current pulled him deeper into the dark ocean as two massive glowing eyes opened below. A gargantuan maw with infinite rows of razor-sharp teeth rushed toward him. Mark kicked with all his strength, breaking the surface just in time for his brother to drag him out. Mark was hysterical, coughing up salt water, but the pool water was completely normal. Moments later, two Foundation agents arrived, asking if he had recently read a detailed description of an ocean creature online. When Mark nodded, an agent administered an amnestic. SCP-1128 is a contagious cognitohazard. Anyone who learns specific details about its appearance becomes marked. From that moment on, full immersion in any body of water, a pool, bathtub, or deep sink, drags the victim into the deep ocean to be consumed. SCP-1128 appears as a colossal apex predator measuring over 215 meters, or 705 feet, in length. To survive this entity, never search for its physical description online, and if exposed, avoid all bodies of water immediately. SCP-682. This massive reptilian creature is exactly what its nickname suggests, virtually impossible to eliminate. Known as the indestructible reptile picture, a colossal lizard-like beast with exposed muscle and bone, possessing intelligence that rivals human strategists and regenerative powers that defy all logic. The Foundation has tried everything: acid baths, high-caliber weaponry, extreme temperatures. This thing has been reduced to barely more than scraps of tissue and still fully regenerated. But the truly horrifying aspect isn't just its resilience, it's the adaptation. Every failed termination attempt makes it stronger, smarter, more resistant. This creature despises all living things with an intensity that borders on philosophical. It has verbally expressed its disgust for humanity during containment interviews, mocking its captors with calculated cruelty. The beast can strategize, exploit weaknesses, and has even formed bizarre alliances with other anomalies when it suits its purposes. Keeping it submerged in acid is currently the only semi-effective method, but everyone knows it's not a permanent solution. It's just buying time. SCP-3000. A deep-sea Foundation expedition was investigating strange disturbances in the Indian Ocean when crew members began reporting severe headaches. At first, they blamed the pressure. Then people started forgetting things, names, instructions, even why they were there. As the submarine descended deeper, its lights finally revealed the source. Emerging from the darkness was the head of an enormous eel-like creature, its black body disappearing endlessly into the abyss. The crew could not see where it began or ended. Panic spread through the vessel as memories continued to fade. Some researchers became paranoid, others stopped responding altogether. Moments later, contact with the expedition was lost. SCP-3000, also known as Anantashesha, is a colossal serpentine entity estimated to be between 600 and 900 kilometers long. Resembling a giant moray eel, it spends most of its time resting deep within the Indian Ocean. Despite its largely sedentary nature, it is a dangerous predator capable of moving with incredible speed when hunting. More terrifying than its size is its cognitohazardous effect, causing memory loss, paranoia, fear, and severe mental deterioration in anyone nearby. SCP-096. Imagine a tall, emaciated humanoid with unnaturally long arms and an elongated jaw. It seems harmless, usually sitting in a corner, weeping quietly. That is, until someone sees its face. That's the shy one. The moment anyone views its features, whether in person, through a photograph, or even on video, a countdown begins. Within 1 to 2 minutes, the entity covers its face and begins screaming. Then it runs, and it will not stop until it reaches the person who saw it. Distance means nothing. Obstacles mean nothing. It has crossed oceans, broken through reinforced walls, and tracked targets across continents. When it arrives, the result is always the same: complete obliteration of the victim through overwhelming force. The most unsettling incident involved its discovery through a photograph containing just 4 pixels of its face. 4 tiny pixels were enough to trigger a rampage. Artistic drawings don't cause reactions, which provides some safety for documentation. But any actual image, that's a death sentence with legs. SCP-169. A Foundation research team was investigating unusual seismic activity near a remote island chain in the South Atlantic Ocean. At first, the tremors seemed natural. Then satellite images revealed something impossible. The islands had moved several kilometers from their original position. A submarine was sent to investigate. As it descended into the darkness, its lights revealed massive rock-like formations beneath the islands. But they weren't attached to the seafloor. They were attached to something alive. The crew watched in silence as the camera revealed an enormous armored surface stretching far beyond the limits of their sensors. The islands were merely small parts of a creature so large it could barely be comprehended. SCP-169, known as the Leviathan, is a colossal marine arthropod estimated to measure 2,000 to 8,000 kilometers in length. Believed to have existed since before recorded history, it spends most of its time dormant beneath the ocean. Entire island chains are thought to rest on its back, and even its breathing causes measurable earthquakes.
SCP-001. When day breaks. The sun is usually the symbol of life and warmth, but in When Day Breaks, it becomes the ultimate monster. This Apollon-class anomaly means there's no way to stop it, and no reset button for the planet. The nightmare starts the second sunlight touches any living thing. The moment light hits your skin, you don't burn, you liquefy. Your skin melts and slides off your muscles. Your bones become soft like rubber, and your organs fuse together. The most terrifying part, you don't die. You stay completely conscious, becoming an instance of SCP-001-A, a sentient puddle of meat with your memories and emotions intact. These melting creatures wander in the sunlight, dripping and calling out to survivors. They use voices of people you know to trick you, standing outside your bunker screaming in your mother's voice, begging you to see how beautiful the sun is. If you touch one, you're pulled into their mass, fusing into one giant blob of flesh. Even moonlight is dangerous. A tiny crack in a window is enough to turn everyone in a room into screaming soup. The Foundation has moved underground, but they know it's only a matter of time before the surface becomes a global slow roast.
SCP-2770. On a foggy evening in the North Sea, a cargo ship captain spotted a small, battered yellow lifeboat drifting through the mist. Inside was a man in a vintage naval uniform, waving his arms frantically for help. The captain slowed his vessel and ordered the crew to deploy a rescue line. As the cargo ship pulled alongside, the sea turned silent, and the fog grew unnaturally thick. Before the crew could throw the rope, a massive shadow rose from the black water. A gigantic, pale arm covered in barnacles and rotting tissue reached out of the abyss, grabbing the cargo ship by its hull. In less than 5 seconds, the ship was dragged vertically down into the ocean, leaving behind only small air bubbles. Minutes later, the yellow lifeboat drifted peacefully in the fog, waiting for its next victim. The SCP Foundation classified the event. SCP-2770-1 is the lure, while SCP-2770-2 is the gargantuan sea entity lurking beneath it, measuring over 300 meters or 984 feet in length. To survive this entity, if you see a lone, antique lifeboat waving for help in dense North Sea fog, do not approach and alter course immediately.
SCP-4666, the Yule Man. SCP-4666. The Yule Man is an 8-foot-tall, skeletal old man who's always completely naked, even in sub-zero temperatures. He appears for 12 nights each year, from late December to early January. For the first few nights, he just watches. Your children might see a pale face staring through the window. By mid-period, the family hears heavy footsteps on the roof and smells rotting meat and old sweat. On the final night, the Yule event happens. SCP-4666 enters the house and brutally murders everyone except one child, who is abducted to a place no one has found. Years later, different families wake up to find gifts, toys handcrafted from human skin, bones, and teeth of the children he kidnapped. He doesn't speak, shows no emotion, and can teleport through any wall. You can't lock him out or fight him off.